So, as I mentioned in a previous video, that the Trump administration, according to sources from Debka.com, the Trump administration rejected and stomped down the bill to recognize the Golan Heights, or recognize Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights. And of course, the last video that I just posted, that the Trump administration has rejected Israel's sovereignty over the most holy place, the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. And so now, in two ways, they have dealt Israel with treacherousness. And I've said about the Golan Heights situation that they have, in so doing, in refusing to recognize Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights, they have allowed a way for the devil, Israel's adversary, to come in and invade through the Golan Heights. However, as I also mentioned before, that to be sure, this is by design so as to draw the enemy in for judgment, as is written in Ezekiel 38, so that the heathen may know Jehovah. An article from this morning on Debka.com, the title is "Ahead of Lieberman's Moscow Talks, Hezbollah Troops Are Positioned at Israeli Border Disguised in Syrian Uniforms." Before I get started on this, there have been several articles being posted that all over the internet yesterday, that Russia is now demanding that Iran must leave Syria. Well, we know what the answer is. They're just, Iran and their proxy, Hezbollah, are just changing uniforms. Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman's landing in Moscow on Thursday, May 31st, was preceded by stealthy Iranian and Hezbollah moves into three strategic locations facing Israel's Golan border. Hezbollah troops at the nearest point are disguised in Syrian army uniforms in respect of the Russian narrative. Yes. The Russian narrative articulated this week by Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov that only Syrian government forces should stand on the Israeli border. Now, you know, the Russians claimed that their troops were not responsible, were not there on the Euphrates River attacking United States forces. When they were, yes, they were just operating under the guise of Syrian forces, you see. The Wagner Group, or the Wagner Group, around 300 of them got killed. So this is the technique, this is the Russian technique that it seems that Iran and Hezbollah has now imitated. Lieberman is scheduled to hold critical talks with his Russian counterpart, General Sergei Shoigu, on Thursday. He is accompanied by Military Intelligence Chief Major General Tamir Heyman and the Defense Ministry Senior Security Advisor Zohar Palti. These talks are more pressing than ever, given the Iranian Hezbollah rapid advance on the Quneitra region just ahead of his arrival in Moscow. That force first took up positions on the hills surrounding this Syrian Golan town of Tal Mishpi, Tal Arbad, Tal Marius, Tal Gazim, and Tal Gashim. And then it split into three parts. Debka Files military sources report one element pulled back to the Syrian Army's 10th Armored Division base at Katana, midway between Quneitra and Damascus, leaving the Iranian Hezbollah command post behind at Khan Arnaba. A third element of the Iran-led force branched north to the village of Qadar opposite the IDF's Mount Hermon outposts west of Majdal Shams. These Hezbollah troops, who are posted at the closest point to the Israeli border, were disguised in the uniforms of the Syrian 4th Division and 12th Brigade. From Qadar and the surrounding mountain villages, Hezbollah has a close-up overview for the surveillance of Israel's Golan outposts and border defenses. Although the Iranian Hezbollah force had deployed in the last 48 hours, yes, tanks were being moved there, actually. Or were it being, I'm thinking tanks were being moved to Gaza at that time, so never mind that. A Syrian headquarters of 3 senior intelligence officers was set up to coordinate the Iranian Hezbollah 3-point deployment with the Russian military police monitors posted in the Quneitra region. We can name them as Brigadier General Osama Zar ed-Din, officer in the command of Syrian military intelligence southeast of Damascus, Brigadier General Louay al-Ali, whose area of command is southern Syria, and Brigadier General Jihad al-Za'al, head of security commissions in the south. All parts of the combined force are pushing ahead with preparations to launch an offensive to wrest Quneitra from the Syrian rebel militias holding the town just across the Israeli border. And of course, any of you who were paying attention, Israel warned Syria and Iran not to go in there. We shall see what is about to happen. But folks, remember this, as I pointed out to you in a previous video concerning the missile launchers that the Russians gave to the Syrians, called the Golan 1000, okay? As I said, that is an ominous sign. But it's more than just an ominous sign that Russia wants the Golan Heights. Listen to me very carefully. It is a signal to Syria, Iran, and Hezbollah to take the Golan Heights. Let me repeat myself. That naming of these new missile launchers that Russia has given to Syria is a signal for Syria and Syria's allies to go ahead and take the Golan Heights. And we shall see if they will follow through.